Update. I, male 26, blew up my wedding by uninviting my groomsman. How do I fix things? Original post. 2 weeks ago, I had my bachelor party. I was very hesitant about having one in the first place, mainly because I don't like the connotation/expectations behind a traditional bachelor party. My best man and all my groomsmen knew this. We've known each other for a very long time, since childhood, and we're all super close. My groomsmen are male 28, male 28, male 29, best man is male 25. Before I met my fiancé, I was not a good person. I manipulated and used women, physically and emotionally, all the time, and thought it was cool/fun. This was partly because of my then unresolved trauma from women in my childhood. When I graduated from college, I started taking care of myself, physically, emotionally, and most importantly, mentally. I was able to afford therapy and really worked hard on myself to change and become a better man. My best man knew about this and has followed my journey and has been generally very supportive. He too has started to see how toxic our behavior was, and is basically more or less on the same path to become a better person. Our other friends? Not so much. But it's not something that affects our friendship, and they are much better with their behavior in comparison to when we were younger. I met my fiancé shortly after the changes I made. My fiancé really helped me heal from my trauma and has embraced me with all my flaws. I feel so loved and cared for, and she's the one I want to spend the rest of my life with. Not to mention that her family has welcomed me since day one. I've opened up to her about everything, so she knows about my past, and she's well aware of my friend group and how they are. She ended up actually encouraging me to have a bachelor party so I wouldn't miss out on a once-in-a-lifetime experience. I told the boys I didn't want anything to do with strippers or strip clubs or any variation of undressed girls. They agreed. We went to a hotel with a casino and gambled for most of the afternoon. In the evening, we went back to our room and drank some more, and by the time it was 8/9 p.m., I was completely wasted. This is where things took a turn for the worse. My groomsmen were talking to a group of girls when we were gambling in the afternoon who were doing a bachelorette party. They invited them to our room, and they showed up at 9. So when they showed up, things got crazy. We all went to a club, at which point I pretty much blacked out. I remember telling my best man to take me back, and that I didn't feel good about being this drunk at a club, but he just sort of shrugged and laughed it off. Next thing I remember is coming in and out of consciousness while one of the bridesmaids from the other party was unzipping my pants in her hotel room. I tried to push her away, but kept blacking out, and I even mustered enough energy to say out loud, "Please stop, I don't want to." She kept going, and I ended up finishing. When I woke up the next morning, I was back in our hotel room. I thought I had a terrible nightmare, but I slowly started remembering everything. I began to have a panic attack. I woke everyone and tried to find out what happened. My groomsmen were being extremely dismissive and not taking it seriously, but I pressed, until one of them admitted that they thought it would be funny to convince one of the bridesmaids to take me back to her room and give me one more night of fun before I become trapped. I lost it and freaked out. I left without them and have been staying with my cousin until I figure out what to do next. I called my fiancé and told her that I need to postpone the wedding. I need time to think. Now the boys and my fiancé have been blowing up my phone. I've only been responding to my fiancé and reassuring her that it's not her, it's something with me. I sent one text 1 week later to my boys' group chat telling them they're all uninvited. I obviously told my fiancé about this but didn't explain why. She, her family, and all the relatives of my friends have been calling me a complete a-hole and blowing up my phone nonstop about the issue. The only people that know what happened are me, the boys, and my cousin. I don't have any other family, and my best man said he had no idea what they were up to and feels awful for not being there to stop/protect me. I feel so lost. I haven't slept for days. I can't eat. I can't think. I can't breathe. I can't even look my fiancé in the face. I keep making excuses about why I'm staying with my cousin, and the "I'm working through something" response is wearing thin. I feel sick every time I text her because I cheated. Even though I didn't want it, I finished, and I feel like a horrible person. It feels like I regressed, and with my history, I can't trust myself anymore, and how can I expect my fiancé to? Now for the top advice before reading the updates. You didn't cheat. You were forced upon. You were blackout drunk and told this woman no, and she continued anyway. This is not your fault. You need to understand this. You need to start by telling your fiancé about this. She deserves to know the reason why the wedding is postponed, because she is totally going crazy wondering what the heck happened. And inviting the groomsman is totally fine regarding the circumstances. I hope your fiancé will understand her reasons why, and I think when she realizes how distraught you are, she will get the gravity of the situation. But you need to tell her, soon. This is the comment you need. If you didn't want it and you said no and it wasn't respected, that is a crime. You need emotional and therapeutic support, and you need to tell your fiancé because her not knowing is just a special kind of hell for her. These guys are not your friends. They're bad guys. Don't invite them to a damn thing ever again. How do I even start a conversation about this? I don't even know what I would begin to say to the love of my life. Okay, dude, you got violated. Like legit, that's what you just described. It is not your fault, but it is your responsibility to be honest with your fiancé. Tell her exactly what happened. You got drunk around people you trusted and then learned later they planned to have a lady sleep with you while you were barely conscious, and that you will now be going no contact with them. Because you absolutely should go no contact with them. For like ever. Who knows how she'll take it? But even if you don't think you deserve her, she deserves the truth. If you keep telling her nothing, eventually she'll either get told a lie by one of your friends, or she'll think you got cold feet and or don't love her anymore. I know you're blaming yourself, even though, and I can't stress this enough, it is not your fault. So think of speaking to her as the first step to making things right. Then give her whatever time/space she needs to process. Then go to a therapist, or find a support group, and never be around those friends again. That's honestly just as important as speaking to her. She used her mouth, so I don't know if it counts as that. I'm honestly terrified to say something. I'm scared of the backlash I might get for claiming I was touched against my will. I don't know if people will believe me, and I'm really torn and feel helpless. Any unwanted physical intimate action is that crime. If you know your fiancé and how she deals with your trauma, it should go all right. You don't have to tell others what happened, just that they did something unforgivable and are no longer invited. That you want to hear nothing about them and want nothing to do with them. Guys don't normally come forward with something that happened to them. Your fiancé, if she's a good person, which I believe she is given what you told us, then she should believe you and help work on assisting you through this. Currently, I'd suggest getting a piece of paper and a pen and just writing all your feelings out. The bad, the worse, what you want to tell her, what you don't, etc. You don't have to give it to her when you are done if you don't want. But it will help. It will take some of that weight off your shoulders. Now for the first update. So many of you have reached out to me and offered support. I appreciate all of you. I've decided to tell my fiancé everything. I've been convinced from the sheer amount of people telling me it would be the right next move. I don't know much, but I do know that when hundreds of people tell you the same thing, they're probably correct. I texted her to meet tomorrow. I'm taking my cousin with me, and I think I'm going to try to explain and have my cousin / this post as a backup. She seemed sort of relieved / anxious that I agreed to meet. I'm aware that this could destroy everything we have, so I really hope it all works out. Thank you all for pushing me to tell her. I'll try to update as soon as I can. Second update. After reading through all the comments and getting a lot of supportive DMs, I decided to tell my fiancé everything. I took my cousin with me and had a speech prepared on paper. We decided to meet at our home, so my cousin and I drove to her. We pulled up to the driveway and my heart was pounding out my chest. I told my cousin I need to turn around and I couldn't do this, but cousin insisted and pushed me through it. As soon as I got out of the car, my fiancé opened the front door and stared at me with an emotionless face. I thought we got off to a horrible start and I was just dreading going inside. We walk in and my fiancé directs us to our living room. At this point, no one has said a word, and you can cut the tension with a butter knife. My cousin and I sit on one couch and my fiancé is sitting on a couch to the right of us, closest to me. I open by telling her that I'm really sorry about how I've been acting, and that she's done nothing wrong. I pull out my paper letter and start shaking a lot. I try reading the first couple of sentences, but eventually start to break down and have panic attacks / cry. My cousin grabbed the letter and continued reading the letter until I was able to grab it back and continue. The letter read like my first post, had a lot more apologies and emotion in it though. When I finished, I looked up and saw her extremely distraught and upset. She just stood up, said she needed a minute to think and went to the bathroom for a good half hour. I didn't know what to think. I was devastated and it was killing me inside. I didn't know what she was thinking or what she was going to do next. When she opened the bathroom door, she just ran up to me and hugged me and started bawling her eyes out. She kept saying that she was sorry about what happened to me and that she wishes she was there to protect me. We spent the rest of the night talking about it. She was very supportive and was just mad that I didn't come to her sooner. She's furious with my ex-best man and immediately texted her family, without all the details, to explain my side. She said something along the lines of, they did unforgivable things. We've decided to postpone the wedding while we both figure out how to work through this. My fiancé has already helped me connect with mental health resources that deal with his ordeals. I've already been to 2 sessions this week. She's been extremely supportive and comforting. We're looking into next steps with the police to report the crime, though I don't have much evidence. I honestly don't care if I get justice at this point. I'm just glad my fiancé believes me. I told her I was scared she would think I was lying because of my past, but she said she knows I've changed and that she fell in love with the person I am today. As for my best man, I've got no contact since. It's only been 6 days since I told my fiancé, so I'm still working through some stuff. In the meantime, I'm happy to have the love of my life in my arms at night. I can rest easy at night. The nightmares have slowed/stopped. I'll try to update when I can in the future. Thanks for the advice. Wow, OP. Your friends essentially conspired together to get you violated. Never give those guys any more of your time. They aren't worth it. I'm glad to hear you're on demand now, and your fiancé sounds like an absolute treasure. Cherish her always, OP. God bless. He needs to drop the whole lot of them. This is a bit of a gendered problem, unfortunately, in that the men will think they're doing him a favor and won't see the crime. I can't imagine any of the women I know conspiring this way. They would see this as obviously for what it is. I'm so happy for you and your fiancé. I'm glad you are working through this together. I'm sorry this happened to you. I can't imagine what that was like. I'm really happy that you gave an update to this story. I know it's not over yet, and you may have a long road to recovery, but I'm glad to hear that she is everything you needed from her. Really relieved this didn't turn out worse than it needed to be, even though it's so terrible what happened to you. I'm so sorry. I know this sounds manipulative, but under the circumstances, I think it's necessary. You need to text your friends and set them up to admit in print what they told you about telling her to come in. Don't do a big long text confronting them. Act like it's not as big of a deal as it is. Say, I told you I didn't want to do that. I asked to go back to the hotel because I was blackout. Make them admit you were that drunk. Get them to say they asked her to go in the room. This will be your evidence of the crime so you can file charges. You can file a charge against the girl, and you can file charges against your friends for at the very least reckless endangerment. Get an STD test. Can also be used as evidence. I'm so sorry this happened to you. I actually cried reading both posts. The therapists will be able to provide the courts with documentation about your mental health and how affected you were with this trauma. This will include how your life drastically changed overnight. Have your doctor give you a note to show your employer when you get a medical leave. Yes, take a medical leave regardless of if you feel like you can actually work. This will prove it impacts your ability to lead your normal life. This one might be far, but can you still not eat or drink? Go to the emergency room for dehydration. You'll have even more medical records to prove the follow-up effects. I would say with this type of evidence, you will have a stronger case and chance of winning with a reckless endangerment. Don't admit to anyone ever these steps are intentional except your fiancé. Hire a lawyer to at the very least see what your options are. I'm not a lawyer, but my brother is a victim of domestic violence. His medical records of ER visit for the time he threw something at her, therapy notes, work history, etc. significantly helped his lawsuit and his restraining order against her. I would honestly even consider trying to get a restraining order from your friends as well. Show them in the courts how traumatic it is, that you don't even feel safe being around your ex-friends. Show everyone, including them, how incredibly serious this situation is. Fight, don't back down. After all your hard work, you don't deserve to have this situation anywhere near you. I'm so sorry. I saw someone comment get hotel footage. Yes, maybe try and get some bar footage if you're barely coherent and blacked out. The hotel one could also show that you didn't go in with the girls originally. They could try and say, oh, we all agreed to go back together. No, show them you went in alone with just your friends. Footage can be subpoenaed if the business deny you accessing the footage. Now for the third update. This will be my last update for a while. I just want to thank everyone for the kind words and support in my inbox. Some of you even opened up about similar experiences, and that really helped. I'm not even close to being okay mentally. I constantly have panic attacks and anxiety randomly throughout the day. Sometimes unrelated things can trigger an attack, but I'm trying my best to fight and survive. My fiancé has been my rock, and her family, her dad, mom, and sisters have been angels. They've even hired a private investigator to help with our police report that we're filing. My fiancé's dad is well connected in the legal world, and is connecting me with a lawyer who'll be pretty much taking lead with my case. In the meantime, all I can do is try working through my issues and trying to move on. It's hard, not just for me, which kills me inside. I can see the pain this situation has caused my fiancé. I can see it in her eyes. It's hard not to blame myself. I've written personal letters to the parents of all of my ex-friends, groomsmen, explaining things. I mailed them out yesterday. I'm closing that chapter of my life, as I've also mentioned that in those letters. What they do with that information is their choice. As for our wedding, we have decided to revisit things next year. Maybe sooner depending on everything we're dealing with right now. We know we don't have to rush and can just take our time. I don't know if I'll ever be okay or if the panic attack/anxiety will ever go. I hope the next time I update, I'll feel like I can breathe again. Till next time. Am I the a-hole for telling my ex his lack of money is not my issue? Original post. I, 36 female, have a daughter, Sadie, 12, with my ex-husband, John, 39. We got divorced 5 years ago, and I have primary custody while he sees her 2 weekends a month. Last year, he got married to Amanda, who has sole custody of her kids, 10 and 8 female, from a previous marriage. Amanda's a stay-at-home mom, not for any health reasons or so on. She just doesn't want to work, while John works at a 9 to 5. He makes good money to support them, but not enough to live in luxury. I have a much higher paying job. Since it's just me and Sadie, I make sure she has the best possible life. She goes to a private school, set her up a college fund, and she has much better things than most kids. Phone, clothes, etc. I still managed to raise her to be humble and not take things for granted, and she's one of the hardest working people I know, always making sure to get good grades and keep her room tidy. Well, the last few times she came back after a weekend at John's, I noticed that the clothes she was bringing back in her duffel are A, not her size, and B, much cheaper and poorer quality than what I usually buy for her. I asked her why that is, and she told me that while she's at her dad's, Amanda takes away her nice clothes and gives them to her kids, while Sadie gets the clothes they buy from Target. I asked her if she wanted them back, but she said she didn't mind sharing since all her favorite clothes were kept here. The problem came when I went to pick her up last weekend. I had a business meeting and couldn't drive her over, so Amanda offered to just pick Sadie up from school, which hadn't happened before. When I got there on Sunday, John and Amanda asked me to sit down with them, and when Sadie came to hug me, Amanda sent her to her room quite harshly, saying her punishment wasn't over yet. I was confused because Sadie very rarely misbehaves. They sat me down in the kitchen and said that it was unfair for Sadie to be going to a private school while her kids go to a public one, so they decided that Sadie would be pulled out of private school and put in the same school as the girls. They also said I should keep up Sadie's punishment, because when they told her, she blew up at them, told them it wasn't fair, and yelled at Amanda and her kids weren't even her real family, that all they did was steal. I told them in no uncertain terms to buzz off. I would not be pulling my child out of a school she likes, away from her friends, just because they can't afford it. I told them they could easily make as much money as me if Amanda started working in her field because she has the qualifications, and the job market is very good. I told them their money problems are not my issue, and if Sadie's items get stolen again or they try to pull her out of school, I'll be taking this to court. They've been blowing up my phone ever since, calling me a selfish a-hole. And after telling the story to a friend, he told me I was rubbing my success in their face, but I still don't feel like I did anything wrong. Still, am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. And I would make the school aware that any decisions about your daughter need to go through you, so he doesn't just do it behind your back. First thing I did after dropping Sadie off at school, my kid's not losing a good opportunity because of them. Her father is weak, and all around pretty terrible for trying to take away these opportunities from your daughter. I say yours because he is hardly acting like she is his at the moment. I'd be having a good talk with your daughter about any other toxic ways she's being treated at their house. Get the courts involved regardless for stealing and trying to alienate your daughter. In the meantime, Opie and daughter could make a game out of this. Take daughter thrift shopping for dad's weekend clothes. Things that are okay but not stepmom jealous fancy. Clothes that daughter likes and fits, but stepmom is not likely to steal. Hi, I think as a loving mother, you know the answer deep down in your heart. Not the a-hole, and well done for protecting your daughter. Keep this mama bear mood switched on. Out of all adults involved, you're the only one fighting your kid's corner. Your daughter really needs your support in this situation. The only thing that I would have done differently is I'd have taken them to court already for stolen clothes. You let it go, and now it keeps escalating, because the real motive here is intense jealousy, combined with laziness and questionable morality. To steal clothes instead of working? Meh, that makes me want to vomit. These people are adults and won't change, so reasoning with them is not a viable option. I would involve child protection service to start with, because stealing clothes and pulling your daughter out of school against her will and without consulting her mother is abuse. Please report it, or your child will get more of the same. Also, I'm not sure if your daughter benefits from seeing her father. Even during the short time they're together, he manages to mistreat her. It's another thing to discuss with child protection. I would do it without warning and any previous talks with her dad or Amanda, so that they wouldn't be able to prepare on how to dodge it. What you're describing is serious, and it's time to take an action. Good luck, and please take good care of yourself. Your lovely daughter needs your help right now. Thank you so much for your comment. I'm really considering that, but haven't done it up until now because I didn't want to ruin Sadie's relationship with her father. As it is, she's decided she doesn't want to go back, so I'm gonna take quite a lot of pleasure in getting my revenge for what they did to her. Best of luck to you. I'm glad your daughter won't be exposed to any more of it. I don't know how it works where you live. Can your ex take you to court for withholding his daughter from him, or she's old enough to decide for herself? He can take me to court if she doesn't go, and she can only make choices about her living situation at 16. But I'm planning on contacting my lawyer ASAP to at least start the process of getting the sole custody before her next visit. Then hopefully I can keep her with me until the decision's final. Now for the first update. I got temporary guardianship while waiting for a court hearing. We're going to try to get full custody and have John get 1 day a week of visitation, supervised for at least the first few months, and no contact with Amanda or her kids. This way, he still sees Sadie just as much and they can try to repair their relationship. But she doesn't have to go back there. All contact between us is made through emails which are CC'd by my lawyer, and I've asked for Sadie's things back. I've talked to Sadie, and we've decided that she's going to try therapy for a little while to help deal with everything that's happened. Update 2. We've had a hearing and our custody arrangement's been modified. Any and all decisions relating to Sadie are made by me and me alone. John has supervised visitation once a week, and Sadie will continue in therapy to deal with all the issues Amanda and company have caused her. They tried to push for 50-50 custody split on grounds of alienation, as in me trying to put Sadie against her father. But we made it clear from the start that we wanted to keep Amanda and her children away, and wanted supervision only because we don't feel safe leaving him alone as of yet, but that we were open to modifications. Thanks to that, the proof of stealing, and Sadie's therapist's testimony, their claim was thrown out pretty quickly. Amanda's angry and has tried to contact me and Sadie, but I made it clear to her that if she keeps harassing me or my daughter, I'll have to make this known to the authorities. Sadie and I have blocked her everywhere, and any communication between John and us is made through text messages or emails only. I'd like to thank you all for your support throughout all of this. It really means a lot to us. Sending you loads of love. Definitely not the a-hole. Info. Did you and your friend have words, and did you tell him where to go? He tried talking to me. I told him I'd rather our relationship be professional from then on. So he called me a witch because I couldn't deal with people's opinions. Joke's on him because the firm's managing partner was walking by and heard a name calling. He got himself a trip to HR and will no longer be working with me. They sat me down in the kitchen and said that it was unfair for Sadie to be going to a private school while her kids go to a public one. Literally took "if my girls can't have it, nobody can" to another level. So they decided that Sadie would be pulled out of private school and put in the same school as the girls. The sheer audacity to be making decisions about the life of a kid they're barely involved with. I suddenly remembered a poster who, along with her husband, saved for a trip to Paris for herself, her daughter, and hubby. Her ex said that they should bring her daughter's stepsister or else it wasn't fair for the daughter to go. Thankfully, that OP, though sympathetic to her ex's stepdaughter, realized this wasn't her problem. Money entitlement is funny. Oh, can I share my personal favorite? It was the one that was posted here of a dude that was with his girlfriend for 4 years, and her dad died leaving her a huge inheritance, and he was all pissy because she was managing her money like a mature adult, like selling an extra house and giving the money to her mom so she could live comfortably, and he was fighting her for not sharing it and asking him if he needed any of her inheritance. Then he recommended couples therapy, then quit when the therapist and girlfriend ganged up on him. And when she finally broke up with him, he posted for advice on how to report her mom for tax fraud from the girlfriend helping out her mom. Dude was such a loser. I wouldn't even warn Amanda that I'd go to the authorities if she didn't stop harassing me. I'd go straight to the authorities and let them sort it out. These are not people you can compromise with. If they even perceive that OP has given them an inch, they're going to demand the entire country. Next story. Am I the a-hole for being honest with my son that I am not proud of him? My wife Nina became pregnant with our son Jason when we were both 20. We will admit it was an unplanned pregnancy, but we loved our son and kept him. We did our best to raise Jason to be kind, respectful, and treat others well, and we thought we succeeded. Jason worked hard to attend an elite university. Jason and his first wife Sarah had a daughter, Simone. Unfortunately, Sarah passed in a car accident before Simone's 3rd birthday. Jason raised Simone until Simone was 4. At that time, he met his second wife and moved 2 hours away, and Simone lived with us. Jason visits once every 2 months at best. He and his wife would stay for the day, buy Simone a present, then Jason would say it was time to leave. Nina and I suspect he only visits and buys Simone the presents because his wife makes him. His wife, Iris, is a lovely lady. She insists that Simone should move in with them or they should move closer to us because she wants to be Simone's stepmom and spend time with her. But Jason shuts the idea down because he says Simone moving in or them moving would hurt his career, and it is best Simone stay with Nina and me. Simone is 11 now, and she adores Jason. She makes drawings and cards for him, constantly bakes treats to send him. It is devastating for her because her dad is her hero, and he does not want to spend time with her. Her birthday was in July, and she cried when Jason did not call her to wish her a happy birthday. Iris tried lying to Simone to make her feel better that the phone lines went down, and Jason did not forget, but Simone did not believe her. Simone is at summer camp all this week, and Jason invited us to a party to celebrate receiving a promotion. During the party, Jason told me about how much more money he makes with his promotion and his job title, and he asked, "You should be proud, old man. Job title and an elite university alumni." I sighed and told Jason that I honestly have not been proud of him as of late. He may have a well-paying job, but he treats his own beautiful daughter as if she doesn't matter. Simone is his own little girl. She loves him so much and he doesn't even seem to care. Nina came back with drinks and Jason told her what I said. Nina told him that she agreed with me and he does not treat Simone right. Most of the family says that I and Nina were in the wrong to tell Jason I was not proud of him. They said I should know how much that statement hurts at any age because I was never good enough in my own father's eyes. They said that Jason is probably focusing on stabilizing his career and Simone can move in with them after. They also said Jason's own promotional party was not the time or place to call him out, and I could have just congratulated Jason on working hard and saved the drama for another day. I feel what I said needed to be said, but most of the family's disagreeing with Nina and me. Am I the a-hole? As many people have asked, Jason does pay for child support, and he believes because he pays child support that his responsibilities have been met. Jason told us he was attending therapy in the beginning, but we learned later he was being untruthful about it. Simone sees a child psychologist, but she seems to talk to the psychologist more about school and friends rather than Jason. Many of the comments have also suggested that Simone could resemble Sarah and cause too many bad memories for Jason. That could be possible, but Simone does not resemble Sarah at all. Simone looks like a young version of Nina with lighter skin and slightly thicker hair. The issue seems to be that Jason does not want to be a parent to Simone. Now for the top comments. You told a well-deserved truth. And if that makes him upset, then he can go sit in syrup. I'm proud of you. Not a hole. He stopped being a real dad when she was 4. Now he's 11. So he had 7 years to stabilize his career. And he doesn't even want to go to therapy. I lost someone close to me, and to me it looks like he chose to forget that part of his life after his wife died, instead of dealing with it. That is why he is such a bad father. His daughter is a reminder of what could have been and what he lost, so he cuts her off. He is harming himself and his child, and sets himself for a lot of family drama. OP as his parent needs to give him a solid kick in the butt so he starts going to therapy. Not a-hole. When you are raising your grandchild, oh boy, do you get to have all the opinions in the world regarding your kid. Yep. As for all those saying how much those words hurt coming from a parent, just wait until your kid wants no more to do with you because you left her behind when she needed you most. Not a-hole. He has abandoned his child, physically and spiritually, for the last 7 years. He's not just the a-hole in this situation, he's an a-hole to the core. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for still having my daughter's first birthday party? Okay, here's the background. My 24 female friend, 24 female, and I gave birth on the same day. Her due date was supposed to be 2 months later, but her baby came early. We were both so excited. Unfortunately, 6 months ago, her baby passed on. I cannot begin to imagine her pain. I have tried to be there for her as best as I could, but she just wants to be left alone most of the time, which I understand. Now on to the issue. My daughter's birthday is coming up in September, and we plan to invite close friends and family to her birthday party. I texted her before the invites were sent out, saying, I wanted to let you know my daughter's birthday party is on this date, and I just wanted to let you know you're invited. No pressure on you to come at all. She texted me back saying, oh no, thanks. I'll be at my daughter's grave that day. You know, the one that will never have a first birthday? Buzz off. She told our other friends how angry she is at me for even inviting her, and that is awful that I'm still celebrating this day. And they kind of see her side, saying I could have been more sensitive. My husband doesn't think I did anything wrong and it's just grief talking. Am I the a-hole for inviting her? Honestly, I feel you were screwed either way. If you didn't invite her, your friends and her probably would have thought you were being presumptuous by making the decision for her. You messaging her personally, so she wouldn't get blindsided by an invitation, was likely the right call unless she, or someone else, has talked to you about keeping a distance. If your friends mentioned it, ask what you could have done to be more sensitive. If they have better ideas, use them. Not a-hole. I agree with your husband that this is grief talking. I can't imagine how angry I'd be at the world in her shoes, let alone the extra torture of watching a friend go through the milestones I'd never get to see. Yes, I feel horrible for the friend. I can't bring myself to call her an a-hole because if we're all being totally honest, I'm not sure many of us would have been civil with Opie, given the circumstances. I agree that Opie was probably in a damned if you do, damned if you don't scenario. But I'm sure Opie's invite for the friend to come to her kid's birthday party while said friend is mourning her own daughter must have stung.